You'll have to get through us first. But in a flash, Qin Nan counterattacks with a devastating gut punch, sending Hu Feng flying back. He stands tall, ready for more. That first strike had a bit of sting, but now, did you skip breakfast? Hu Feng lands, fuming with rage. Is this brat even human? How can he tank so much damage? Qin Nan, surging with power, taunts her. Go on, my spiritual energy is bottomless. Every time you strike, I simply circulate my ki to nullify the impact. Bring it on, I'm not afraid of your puny fists. Hu Feng is livid. No one makes a fool out of me. Realizing she can't win alone, she turns to the greedy crowd nearby. You all want Qin Nan dead, don't you? Join me. Once he's finished, I'll split all the top-tier resources with your sex. The trio of Jinshou, Tianyin, and Huangjuan share a greedy look. Let's do it. They coordinate instantly. Dragon subduing sword array. A massive magic circle erupts as 3 giant blades soar toward Qin Nan. He just sneers, trying to bind me with these cheap tricks. Suddenly, the poison siblings join the fray. It is 5 against 1. Hu Feng lunges forward, aiming a loving punch at his face. Qin Nan dodges, but falls right into their trap. Divine chains burst from the blades, shackling him tightly within the magic circle. Engen Lak and Mo. The Wu rush to save him. We will break you out. But Qin Nan senses the danger and screams, Get back! Hu Feng intercepts them both with brutal strikes. Move it, pests. With one heavy blow, the 2 girls are sent straight to the elimination lobby. They turn into streaks of light and reappear at the main square. Shattered, Engen Lak cries, We've been kicked out. They can only watch in despair. Qin Nan, please, be safe. Mo the Wu whispers. Back on the field, Hu Feng laughs like a maniac, pointing at her captive. Ha ha ha! Your little protectors are gone. Qin Nan, they have been forcibly teleported. Now, there is no one left to save you from death. She barks orders. Hold him down. I will personally turn this brat into minced meat. The siblings unleash their sinister purple energy bindings. The chains tighten around Qin Nan. Hu Feng channels her full power. With 5 of us restraining you, even a peak pseudo-god master could not escape. Do not even dream of breaking free. Now, watch closely as I shatter every bone in your body with my bare fists. She dives in for the kill. Die! But Qin Nan just smiles mysteriously. Go! A world-shaking explosion erupts, blasting all 6 enemies away. Hu Feng struggles to stand, her mind racing in terror. What is this power? Qin Nan stands unbound, wreathed in roaring, divine flames. A god-lord aura radiates from him. Hu Feng trembles in midair, paralyzed by fear. This pressure, this might, ... it's the god-lord realm. His spiritual power is suffocating. Qin Nan stands tall, mocking her. Weren't you going to crush my bones? Come on! I am waiting! I will not even move. Give it your best shot. Hu Feng freezes. Hit! You have the strength of a god-lord now. Even 10,000 punches would not leave a scratch. Qin Nan points to his own head. Come on! Aim right here! The comedy begins as Hu Feng instantly chickens out. Wait! I was wrong. I quit. Qin Nan sneers. What about your brother's revenge? Kill me and avenge him. Why stop now? Hu Feng flips her script instantly, desperately trying to negotiate for her life. No. My brother definitely killed himself. It was not your fault. Besides, I have dozens of brothers. Losing one is no big deal. Qin Nan scoffs. So you fight when you want and quit when you are scared. What do you think I am? A punching bag. Where is my respect? Hu Feng bows in fear. Great hero, what do you want? Qin Nan points at her fallen allies. That is not good, she stammers. Qin Nan threatens. Hit them, or I will beat you specifically. That face of yours. Hu Feng panics. Not my face. I needed to find a boyfriend. Fine. I will do it. She turns toward the group, cracking her knuckles. Sorry, everyone. The group recoils in horror. Heck, you were the one who started this alliance. How can you betray us now? They scream in disbelief. Exactly. Have some self-respect. You are just going to do whatever he says. You would even commit crimes just because, he asked. Qin Nan watches the drama unfold with folded arms. Hu Feng stops, seemingly stung by their words. The others breathe a sigh of relief. They think they have reached her. That's right. Turn around and hit him. Even if we lose, we will honor you as a hero. But their hope is crushed instantly. Hu Feng screams in fury. Actually, you guys are incredibly annoying. Shut the hell up. She charges in like a whirlwind, raining down punches and eliminating 3 of them in seconds. Then, she glares at the last 2. You two are the most hateful. With bloodshot eyes and her massive frame looming, she growls. If you had not dragged me here, I would never have crossed paths with a monster like Qin Nan. This is all your fault. She unleashes a massive strike, eliminating them both. After clearing the trash, she turns back to Qin Nan with a submissive grin. Big brother, I have dealt with them. Are you satisfied? Qin Nan waves her off dismissively. Good enough. Now, get lost and eliminate yourself. Hu Feng hesitates, only if you promise not to hold a grudge. I was just misled by those fools. Qin Nan loses patience. I do not care about you. Get out now, or I will finish you myself. Keep pushing, and I will wipe your entire Extreme Dao sect off the map. Terrified, Hu Feng stammers. Yes, I am leaving. With no one left to fight, the big sister starts slapping herself until she passes out, crying as she finally fades away. Once she is gone, Qin Nan lets out a massive sigh of relief. Phew, that was close. If she stayed any longer, I would have literally exploded. Qin Nan scanned the desolate battlefield and muttered, Am I really the only one left in the 10th zone? It seems the championship is mine. He smirked coldly. Once the Realm Lord returns, I'll storm the Holy City Tower and end him. A portal shimmered open, and he vanished inside. He materialized on the grand stage as the announcer's eyes lit up with excitement. The host turned to the roaring crowd and bellowed, I declare, the champion of the 10th zone has been decided. Confetti exploded as the audience erupted in thunderous cheers, shouting, Incredible. He actually did it. Raising Qin Nan's hand high, the host proclaimed, This is the pride of the Hidden Blade God Palace. Qin Nan. Glory to the Hidden Blade. The underdog sect has seized the throne. Disbelief rippled through the stands. I can't believe the lowest ranked sect actually took first place. What a miracle! Qin Nan single-handedly carried his sect to the top. He's a monster! His name echoed through the arena like thunder. He'll surely receive a legendary reward from the Realm Lord. His path to the peak starts now. Yet, one person could only sigh. I'm so envious. Why am I not a genius like him? Yin Luo looked at the Wu with sorrow. Sister! We've burdened him again. The Wu watched the hero on stage. Qin Nan is our inspiration. Once we return, I will cultivate until I can finally stand beside him. Yin Luo's eyes burned with resolve. Me too. I'll catch up and eventually surpass him. The announcer then moved to the prizes. Next is the reward ceremony for the champion. Behold the godly fortune runestone, capable of enduring 1,000 inscriptions. A radiant purple jade appeared, forged from divine iron. Its durability is unmatched. Qin Nan frowned. Indestructible, but it seems useless for my path. Suddenly, a realization struck him. Wait. A material that never breaks and holds 1,000 marks. I know exactly how to use this. I'll forge it into the core of my heaven-burning sword. With this as the blade's foundation, the possibilities are endless. I can weave countless spells directly into the sword to maximize its lethality. The host then presented a second gift. A divine cauldron. This can refine 100 pills at once. Its greatest power is amplifying the user's inner soul fire. The crowd gasped in awe. However, one must possess soul fire to utilize its true potential. Qin Nan felt conflicted. A great treasure, but I haven't awakened it. I've heard only an 8th level quasi-god can condense a soul. I must find a way to break through that barrier immediately. The third reward is immediate. The host crossed his arms. 100 yang source medicinal pills. Golden elixirs hovered in the air like stars. Qin Nan smiled. 100 isn't a fortune, but it's enough to cure the absolute poverty I'm facing right now. The ceremony ended. The Myriad Sect Grand Assembly has concluded perfectly. Champions of every zone, prepare yourselves for the final honor. The Realm Lord will grant you a private audience. Furthermore, your sect's future resources will be allocated based on today's rankings. As the crowds dispersed, his friends rushed over. Qin Nan, congratulations! Suddenly, a black crow streaked across the sky, startling the trio. The crow landed on his shoulder and spoke. Qin Nan, the Lord returns in 3 days. You must be ready for your audience. Understood, Qin Nan replied softly. The bird took flight. Yin Luo looked at him with suspicion. Her curiosity piqued. Are you hiding something from us? That bird belongs to the elite guard, Geo. Why is he sending you messages? Seeing their concern, Qin Nan crossed his arms and decided to come clean. The time for secrets is over. Here is the truth. He revealed his grand gambit. Before I face the Realm Lord, I will solve all your problems and secure the sect's future. In these 3 days, I'll ignite my soul fire and brew pills to skyrocket everyone's strength, upgrading the entire Hidden Blade Palace. Next, I'll infiltrate the Poison Dragon Hall for the Kung Master's antidote. Once his toxic curse is finally broken, he'll reclaim his 7th level quasi-god power. With him at the helm, no one will dare challenge our #1 position. The Wu lowered her head. Qin Nan, we are so weak. You shouldn't have to carry such a heavy burden alone. You are my friends, he comforted them. The Master helped me, and this palace is my home. I will protect you all. Yin Luo's voice trembled with fear. But what about your safety? Why must you walk into a death trap for revenge? Qin Nan stared at the horizon. If you were separated from your soulmate for 10,000 years, what would you do? If you woke up to find every loved one turned to dust while you remained, how could you ever find peace? Yin Luo was stunned by his cold intensity. Qin Nan's eyes blazed with fury. The Lord took everything. I must end this debt. Realizing his pain, Yin Luo whispered, I understand now. I won't stop you. But please, you must return to us alive. The Wu added firmly, prioritize your life above all else. Revenge can wait a decade, but a soul once lost never returns. Qin Nan's expression softened to a warm smile. I promise, with friends like you waiting, I won't let death take me. I still want to enjoy a long life by your side. That unexpected sweetness made Yin Luo's face flush bright red. Her heart raced wildly. Live with us. You'd better keep that promise. Beside her, the Wu's cheeks also glowed with warmth. She cherished the bond they shared. The emotional moment passed as Qin Nan refocused. All right, it's time to get to work. I must gather ingredients for the alchemy. Return to the palace and train hard. I'll meet you once the pills are ready. After securing the cure from Poison Dragon Palace, Tun Nam bids a fleeting farewell to Engen Lak and Davu. We'll reunite at the Dark Radiance Divine Palace, he promises before departing. Watching his friends vanish into the distance, Tan Nam begins his calculations. His reward of 100 yuan yang pills could surely buy a mountain of rare herbs. Right? Time to head to the inner city market. The scene shifts to a bustling bazaar where Tan Nam weaves through the sea of people. He halts before a weathered shop labeled First Rank Medicinal Pavilion and steps inside without a second thought. Do you stock materials for yuan yang pills? He asks. The shopkeeper, a slick talker with a greasy smile, immediately brightens up. Honored guest. You must be joking. Every shop in Yuanyang City carries them.
We have as much as your pockets can handle.
Tan Nam isn't playing games. He slams several pill bottles onto the counter. I have 100 Yuanyang pills here. How much will that buy? The shopkeeper's eyes narrow as he sets a condition. The Lord decrees only certified alchemists may purchase these.
Before we trade,
I must verify your status. Tan Nam scoffs, flashing his identity token. Is this badge enough to prove my alchemist rank? The shopkeeper's eyes widen as he inspects the token, a submissive grin appearing.
Plenty.
Please wait. Honored guest, I'll fetch the materials immediately. He bows low, and soon a basket of high-grade herbs is presented. This batch is worth exactly 100 Yuanyang pills. He carefully hands the tray to Tan Nam, who inspects the quality. How many pills can this amount yield? The boss blathers on. It depends on skill. A weak alchemist might fail entirely, losing their entire investment. Average ones make 100. Masters might reach 200. But turning this amount into 300 pills. I've never seen such a feat in all my years. It all depends on your hidden talent. He smiles, but his mind is already calculating. He tries to lure the youth. Perhaps try a small batch first. If you fail, I'll buy back the leftovers at a high price. Tan Nam's eyes gleam with realization. So, that's how it works. He understands now that Grandmaster Duyat Teen's massive output for the Lord is simply a matter of scale and resources. But a thought strikes him. I've never actually failed a refinement before.
Fine. I understand.
Can I use a refining room here? A medicinal pavilion of this caliber should have facilities for its clients, right? The boss beams like a sunflower. Of course. First door on the left. But inside, he's sneering. This kid looks average. He'll probably lose his shirt. That's what happens when you ignore an elder's advice. Tan Nam enters and finds a purple cinder cauldron. To ignite it, he must first manifest his life's soul fire. He sits cross-legged, calming his mind before the cauldron. Time to begin the manifestation of my life soul fire, he whispers. To forge this flame, one must stabilize the life palace. Once successful, a martial artist's very lifespan will increase. As long as the life soul fire burns, their life will never truly end. His thoughts flow like a river. Visions of complex meridians and ancient magic circles dance in his mind as he prepares for the breakthrough. This flame isn't just for life. It's the ultimate tool for alchemy. The stronger the fire, the higher the pill's quality. Suddenly, enlightenment hits. A halo of light appears on his forehead. Tan Nam smirks with pride. So, this is the life palace. It doesn't exist physically, but within the vast space of the mental plane. It makes sense. Who would be foolish enough to carve a hole in their own skull? He focuses his energy. Now comes the true test. Condensing the life-soul fire within the palace. Success is tied directly to spiritual power. The higher the level, the better the odds. At level 8, spiritual power. This should be a breeze. A violet-blue aura erupts around him. Within the void, a spark begins to dance like a distant star. Tan Nam opens his eyes to find a tiny mote of light hovering before him. Is this my life's soul fire? That's it. It was that simple. He catches the flame, laughing. I thought this would be a legendary challenge, but his joy soon fades into a heavy sigh. Looking at its size, it's only a low-grade flame. It probably only adds 100 years or so. He settles back into position. No matter. With this fire, the real alchemy begins. He analyzes the cauldron. It claims to refine 100 pills at once, but it's likely just a labor-saving tool. You can't turn one herb into 100 pills. That's impossible. If it were truly a god-tier treasure, it wouldn't be a prize. It would be locked in the Lord's private vault. Enough talk. Let the refining begin. Herbs are tossed in, and the cauldron roars to life with a blinding light. Time ticks away. Outside, the shopkeeper waits, yawning and leaning on his hand. 6 hours have passed. ... Is he still in there? He probably ruined the whole batch, and is too ashamed to come out. Suddenly, footsteps echo. Qin Nan stumbles out, looking absolutely drained and utterly miserable. The manager took one look and scoffed, convinced the refinement was a total disaster. After all, failing twice meant wasting herbs worth 100 yuan-yang pills. Anyone would be devastated by such a loss. Feeling a surge of pity, the manager patted his shoulder like a caring elder. It is all right, guest. It was only 100 pills. Let it go. Just save up for next time. Persistence is the path to success. I once saw a brat who failed over 100 times before he suddenly struck gold. Now, he makes a fortune with every batch of pills. He slammed his hand against Qin Nan's back, shouting words of encouragement. Do not give up. You can do it. Qin Nan, already drained, felt even more exhausted. He scratched his head and sighed. Manager, you have completely misunderstood me. I refined over 500 yuan-yang pills. My storage ring cannot even hold them all. The manager's brain suddenly he stood there, frozen like a statue. His jaw dropped, as if he had been struck by a bolt of lightning. He grabbed Qin Nan's shoulders, screaming, 500. You turned 100 pills worth of herbs into 500. Seeing the man lose his mind, Qin Nan scratched his chin in confusion. Yes. Why? Is there a problem? The manager trembled. Have you heard of Du Yixian from the Alchemy Pavilion? Even her peak record is only 600 pills. How can an ordinary guy like you achieve this? Qin Nan's chest puffed out with a surge of pride. He rubbed his nose and placed his hands on his hips. Well, Du Yixian happens to be my master. She is the one who taught me alchemy. The manager collapsed back into his chair, his face a mask of pure disbelief. Since the misunderstanding was cleared, Qin Nan ignored him and pressed on with his business. Manager, I have 500 yuan-yang pills here. I will give you 100 for a high-grade storage ring, and trade the remaining 400 for more herbs. I plan to keep refining. With a wave of his hand, he dumped a mountain of pills onto the floor. The manager, literally buried in medicine, stammered. Yes, of course! Cold sweat drenched the man's back. This kid's talent was absolutely terrifying. Qin Nan slipped on his new ring and nodded in satisfaction. This feels much better. It can hold 100,000 pills without a single problem. He walked away, admiring the gleam. I have already refined 2,000 pills in total today, which should be enough for Ingen Lak, Mo the Wu, and the other disciples. Qin Nan clenched his fist, his eyes burning with resolve. Next, I must find a master smith to reforge my heaven-burning sword. Under a golden sun that poured down like honey, Qin Nan arrived at a place with a legendary name, the God Statue Pavilion. He stared at the massive sign, stroking his chin. God Statue. Ha! Quite the arrogant name. As he stepped inside, a lovely girl in a pink and white dress, her hair tied with red ribbons, greeted him warmly. Welcome, honored guest. How may I assist you today? Qin Nan did not waste time on pleasantries, slamming his shattered blade onto the table. My sword is broken and needs repair. I have brought my own materials. The girl glanced at the blade and sighed. This damage is quite severe. Only our master can fix this. But she is away and will not return for 5 days. Qin Nan's heart sank with urgency. 5 days. The domain lord returns in 3. I do not have time. He leaned over the table, pressing her. Where did this master go? The girl gave a sly smile. A master's whereabouts are a secret I cannot simply reveal. She gestured with her hand, signaling for a tip. Qin Nan sighed and placed a small bottle of 10 pills on the table. The girl poured them onto a red cloth, checking the quality before whispering, The master has gone to the Poison Dragon Hall. Qin Nan laughed out loud. What a coincidence. I was just about to head there myself. The girl continued her act, singing a little tune while her hand remained open. She was a master of turning every moment into a profit. Qin Nan slammed another reward onto the table, and raised his voice. 10 more pills. At last, Engenlak smiled brightly and answered. The Poison Dragon Hall is famous for its deadly arts, and the master recently wanted to infuse a blade with potent toxins. She went there to consult with the hall master himself. Qin Nan's eyes darkened as he processed the information. I see. He turned on his heel and walked out, his mind already calculating his next move. I will go there, take the antidote, and find the smith. 2 birds with 1 stone. Suddenly, he froze in his tracks. Wait a minute. Panic flickered in his eyes. I have no idea where the Poison Dragon Hall is located. I forgot to ask those captives before I let them go. He was in a bind. Just then, Engenlak ran up from behind, waving a scroll in the air. Hey, I happen to have a map to the Poison Dragon Hall right here. It will only cost you 10 more pills. Qin Nan's eye twitched with annoyance. Armed with the map, he quickly hit the road. On the hand-drawn scroll, there was even a little drawing of Engenlak's face in the corner. Qin Nan rubbed his temples and groaned. That girl is a true profiteer. He soon reached his destination. Before him stood a fortress shrouded in a sickly green mist. He thought to himself, at least her drawing was accurate. That green glow is unmistakable. The poison miasma means the hall is close. Indeed, the Poison Dragon Hall was submerged in a hazy green light. Atop the gates, crows gathered, but suddenly, a massive serpent lunged out, devouring a bird in a single bite. Inside the hole, a woman radiating an aura of absolute power sat with her eyes closed, meditating. This was the mistress of the domain, Doc Thien. Below her, a white-haired man gave his report. Mistress, our victory was stolen away by that brat Qin Nan from the Manhwa sect. Doc Thien stroked a golden snake in her hand, her voice cold. I did not expect that tiny sect to produce a man with such monstrous talent. It is truly a surprise. Her emerald eyes sharpened like blades. What is even more shocking is that he appears to be only at the 4th stage of the God realm. Yet, he actually possesses the power of the 8th stage, or even the God King realm. Dr. Na gasped in shock. What? The God King realm? In this entire region, there are barely 3 warriors at that level. She crushed the golden snake in her grip, her fury boiling over. Qin Nan, I have never heard that name before. How did he reach such heights without anyone knowing? Doc Nuyetta stepped forward. Mistress, I have a bold theory. Doc Thien Na gestured for her to continue. Doc Nuyetta spoke with deep respect. According to what I know, Qin Nan was nothing more than a low-level lackey. Even during the Great Assembly, he was only at the 4th stage of the God realm. Every eye in the room was fixed on her. Doc Nuyetta Ta continued, but after he entered the inner city, his strength began to explode at an impossible rate. That was the moment the spire's holy stone vanished into thin air. Poison Skycrow gasped, questioning if this brat Qin Nan had truly devoured the domain lord's sacred treasure. I cannot say for certain, but there is a 70% chance he is the culprit. Her gaze turned razor-sharp as she recalled the moment the stone's energy was siphoned. Moon Evil and I were following Tiger Long to seize Qin Nan's residence when it happened. She looked toward the high throne, adding that the Ruayun appeared shortly after. The one capable of draining the Holy Stone's power must be among the Dark Mangod Palace's ranks. She concluded grimly, noting Qin Nan's suspiciously rapid rise in cultivation level. Therefore, Qin Nan is likely the only one who could have absorbed it. Poison Skycrow roared, slamming her fist down as she surged to her feet. Her lethal beauty radiated cold fury. How does a mere 8th-tier God Realm ant suddenly unleash the devastating might of a God Monarch? It makes no sense at all. A massive amount of Holy Stone energy must still be swirling within his body. A wicked joy crossed her face. If I can seize that power for myself, then I, Poison Skycrow, shall finally ascend to the legendary God Monarch realm. Her face flushed with intoxicating ambition. Our Poison Dragon Hall will finally reign supreme over this domain. I might even take the Domain Lord's throne. Poison Moon, evil, chimed in, noting that Qin Nan had likely exhausted his temporary God Monarch. Surge, for the time being. He won't be able to tap into that power again for a long time. Outside, emerald lightning tore through the sky, casting an eerie, haunting glow over the hall. Poison Moon, evil's voice dripped with cold malice. We should strike now. Mobilize every warrior in the Poison Dragon Hall and crush his dark Mangod Palace once and for all. Capture Qin Nan and tear the holy energy from his very soul. She crossed her arms, calculating the cost. An all-out war between our two sects is now inevitable. The casualties will be high, but the prize of that holy stone energy makes every drop of blood worth it. We must secure our future at any cost today. With a sinister smirk, Poison Sky Crow made her final choice. Very well. It is decided. We launch a full-scale assault on the Dark Mangod Palace. Suddenly, a panicked scout burst into the hall. Hallmaster? He prostrated himself instantly. Someone is at the gates demanding an audience, and he refuses to wait for permission. His attitude is incredibly arrogant. Poison Sky Crow's rage flared. That is the second brat today who thinks he can disrespect me. Does he have a death wish? Does the Poison Dragon Hall mean nothing to these fools? Speak. What is his name? Trembling, the guard replied. He says his name is Qin Nan, my lady. Poison Sky Crow froze, her heart skipping a beat in shock. What? Say that name again? The guard stammered. It is ... It is Qin Nan. She stood tall, utterly stunned. Her shock quickly melted into a predatory smile. Her seductive, yet lethal aura intensified as she whispered. To think my prize would walk right into my trap so easily. She waved her hand dismissively. Bring him in at once. As the guard hurried out, she turned back, her eyes narrowing with cold, heartless calculation and hidden schemes. Moon evil. Liu Li. Prepared 1,000 poison heaven slaying. Formation immediately. She paused, a twisted, jagged grin spreading across her face, as she looked at her loyal subordinates. Her sharp fangs glinted in the dim light. The moment he enters, I will drop my glass as the signal to strike. Her expression darkened with an overwhelming bloodlust. Her laughter echoed with an eerie, bone-chilling coldness. A malevolent green flame ignited in her palm, a harbinger of the agonizing death that was about to be unleashed. Sensing their master's murderous intent, the two women shared a wicked smirk. They bowed deeply, accepting their deadly mission with a sense of dark, twisted excitement and grace. Understood, Moon Evil replied, though her heart burned with a different flame. Qin Nan, you are dead meat. I will finally wash away the humiliation you caused me before. The massive stone doors groaned open as a thick, poisonous mist surged into the hall, turning the atmosphere into a tomb. It felt as if the underworld opened. Through the haze, a tall, imposing figure emerged, stepping forward with unshakable resolve. Qin Nan entered the lion's den, his fong as steady as a mountain peak. The toxic fog parted before his every step. With his hands behind his back, he walked with the aura of a king, indifferent to the danger surrounding him. The grand hall loomed ahead. Poison Sky Crow stared him down, her silver ornaments jingling softly. Once he was close enough, Qin Nan stopped, cutting straight to the point. The master of my Darkman Palace has been poisoned. Qin Nan's face was a mask of cold fury. Tell me ... Was it your Poison Dragon Hall's doing? Deciding the game was getting interesting, Poison Sky Crow hid a mocking smirk behind her hand, her eyes dancing with amusement. She looked down at him with pure disdain. Her rubelek snake eyes shimmered with provocation. Huh, is that tone of yours supposed to be an interrogation? Qin Nan did not flinch, his expression growing even more severe. Listen well, he growled, reaching out as if demanding what was his. Hand over the antidote now, and we can all walk away from this encounter in peace today. Otherwise, I won't hesitate to pry it from your cold, dead hands. His sapphire eyes blazed with a terrifying, predatory light that seemed to swallow the entire room whole. Ha 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 ha! She doubled over, laughing as if she had just heard the funniest joke in the world. Her mocking cackles echoed through the hollow chamber endlessly. The blatant disrespect made Qin Nam's blood boil, his fists clenching tight. Finally, she looked up, wiping a small tear of laughter from her mocking snake-like eye. "Don't think that just because you have stolen some holy stone energy, you can act so high and mighty here," she sneered with utter contempt and freezing cold hatred. Standing tall on her platform, she pointed a finger directly at his face. "Let me educate you, boy! This is the Poison Dragon Hall, not some playground for children. We specialize in crushing arrogant fools like you. You won't be leaving this hall alive today. I will personally ensure you suffer before you take your last breath." Her words were like venomous daggers, but Qin Nan remained silent, watching her every move. She thought, "It is time, the signal to end his miserable life, now." She reached out to grab her glass, but her hand met only thin air. Her sinister, confident smile instantly froze on her face as she searched the table frantically. Cold sweat poured down her neck as she screamed internally. Wait! Where is it? Where is my damn glass? Her finger hung awkwardly and uselessly in the air. Panic set in as she realized a fatal flaw. I forgot. We broke every single glass in this hall during our last meeting. There's nothing to throw. Qin Nan watched her internal crisis with a look of pure, unadulterated confusion. Meanwhile, hiding just behind the heavy stone doors, the two assassins waited for their cue. Moon Evil and Liu Li stood poised for the signal that never came. Moon Evil hissed impatiently. "What on earth is the hallmaster waiting for in there?" Duok Liu Li stood frozen, perhaps forgetting her threats entirely. Realizing the opening, Duok Thienna gestured sharply. "I have my own voice. Why rely on her?" she shrieked, cursing. "Finish him now!" Her fingers blurred into lethal hand seals. A miniature jade cyclone erupted, crackling with arcs of divine white lightning. Following her command, the two disciples unleashed their arts. Duok Liu Li closed her eyes, channeling her inner essence. Like a dark ritual, they summoned a massive pillar of emerald spiritual energy. The shockwave shattered the massive gates into splinters. 10,000 poison heavenly slaughter array. They roared, leaving Tan Nam rooted in shock. A rose-tinted formation materialized above him, raining down deceptive cherry blossoms. But as he looked up, a greater threat stirred beneath. A vibrant green array pulsed under his feet. By the time he noticed the trap, the pink illusion had already dissolved into nothingness. Strange sigils spread rapidly across the floor. At the center of the Bagua, twin spectral serpents coiled, locking him in a death grip. Blinding light flooded the hall as hundreds of emerald vipers swarmed from the formation, binding his limbs in a suffocating embrace. Their cold, blood-red eyes glared with murderous intent. With terrifying hisses and prehistoric crests, the venomous beasts bared their fangs. Paralyzed by pure terror, Tan Nam's face turned to ash. He could only scream in agony as the bindings crushed his very soul. "What a hideous sight!" he gasped, watching Tan Nam writhe among her pets. Duok Thienna's lips curled into a sadistic smirk. "The true nightmare is just beginning," she taunted. A tiny jade serpent slithered up, flicking its tongue against his cheek in mockery. The unwanted intimacy nearly made him collapse. Squeezing his eyes shut, he yelled, "What kind of twisted formation is this? Can't we use something more dignified?" he pleaded. She ignored him, calmly explaining this was the ultimate art of the Poison Dragon Palace. "Even a God Monarch cannot escape this fate," she whispered, stepping closer. "Once the serpent spirit strikes, there is no turning back." The spiritual parasite burrowed deep into his core, poisoning his Dantian and feasting upon his precious cultivation energy. "And every drop of energy it steals becomes mine," she gloated, gathering the stolen golden essence into her palm with predatory grace. Content. She gripped his chin and brushed his lips. "Now, sit still while I drain every ounce of your life." Tan Nam's wide blue eyes shimmered with feigned distress. "Wrapped in vipers," he sighed as if finally surrendering to his grim fate. "You've won. I truly can't break free," he muttered. But inwardly, a cunning smile formed. Why would these snakes choose his danger? Deep within his core, the divine solar sun waited to incinerate all intruders. In his mind's eye, he saw the serpent turning to ash. Flames of pure yang energy consumed the jade viper. Could Duak Finine truly hope to overpower such a monstrous foundation? Thanks for the meal. I'll refine your ultimate array. He chuckled darkly. The spirit serpent suddenly faced a colossal, blazing sun. Horror filled the beast as the miniature star expanded. Bathed in celestial fire, the humble snake was forcibly evolved into a spectral dragon. The solar sphere hungrily devoured the dragon's emerald essence. Heaven offered you a path, yet you chose the gates of hell. She mocked. She cackled with insane delight. Go join that divine statue in the 10,000 snake ruins. Die together! Your arrogance has finally cost you everything, she spat. Tan Nam broke a cold sweat. Was the divine statue imprisoned here as well? I must find the statue before making my move, he planned. Suddenly, the floor exploded as a violet dragon beast breached the surface. It flicked a hooded cobra's tongue, revealing 4 razor-sharp fangs. Tan Nam recoiled as the subordinates began their pathetic flattery. Congratulations, Palace Master. The poison has taken root. His holy stone energy is now yours to harvest forever. Magnificent. Even the domain lord himself considers this holy stone energy a supreme treasure, above all others. With this, I shall ascend to the God Monarch realm, she declared. Our poison dragon palace will reign supreme over the entire domain. Locked away in a desolate cavern, Tan Nam felt the air thickening. It was just like the domain lord's palace, a vacuum for spiritual energy. Hey, handsome, are you all right? A female voice echoed. Tan Nam turned, his heart skipping a beat at the girl's stunning features. I am Tin, the divine statue of this city, she explained softly. I came seeking knowledge, only to be betrayed and cast into this pit. Tan Nam's inner hero immediately took charge. Don't worry, Tin. I'm Tan Nam, and I'm getting us both out of here. Thank you so much, she chirped, catching a glimpse of her delicate profile. Tan Nam's heroic resolve quickly turned into a shameless daze. Her voice is like a heavenly melody, he mused. She must be a peerless goddess. I have to see her full face. Eagerly, he spun around for a better look. His jaw dropped, and he nearly tumbled backward in pure, unadulterated shock. Her face was divine, but her body was built like a legendary titan. Tan Nam turned pale, nearly choking on his own breath. She's a literal mountain, he stammered. Tin looked at him with wide, innocent eyes and reached out a hand. Master Tan, the poison has left me so weak, she whispered. Could you please help me up? Tan Nam was crying internally. My heart says yes, but my logic is screaming for me to run, he thought. Suddenly, a cold realization struck his mind. Wait, I need her skills to forge the burning heaven sword. Stealing his resolve, Tan Nam prepared to face the muscular beauty. Take my hand. But Qin Nan's confidence quickly crumbled as he felt a strange weight. What is this? He couldn't budge her. Despite straining every muscle to lift Zhao Jing, he wiped out, landing squarely in her lap. Zhao Jing beamed, pulling him into a crushingly tight hug. Young master. Such boldness. I'm so flustered. Really, lady. Flustered. Where's your shame? Qin Nan laughed nervously, clearing the air. Lady Zhao, I only came, seeking a blacksmith for my blade. Since you're here, saving you is my priority. Yet, Zhao Jing's eyes stayed dreamy as she bloomed with joy. So, you crossed oceans just for me? Qin Nan coughed awkwardly. Not exactly. I had other business in this poison dragon hall. Abandoning all restraint, she seized his hands. Destiny has woven our paths together. Young master. Meeting here. It's a sign from heaven. Let's get married right now. Qin Nan's soul nearly left his body. What? What? No, absolutely not. Zhao Jing giggled at his panic. You're adorable. It was just a joke. Why so tense? Crisis averted. Qin Nan sighed in relief before turning deadly serious. Lady Zhao, we have a mission to complete. I must purge the poison from your danchon. First, only then can we find a way out of here. Zhao Jing's playfulness vanished instantly. I'm in your hands. They sat face to face, beginning the spiritual link. Qi surged. A golden aura erupted from Qin Nan's palms, but as he probed deeper, he felt something sinister. A parasitic serpent lurked within her, feasting on her vitality while flooding her veins with lethal venom. A jade viper flickered before his eyes. If they master this God Monarch power, this sect will devour the entire realm. The hazy green phantom of the serpent began to wither, ensnared by a crushing ring of radiant golden energy. With a flash, it was obliterated. Qin Nan smirked with absolute confidence. The toxin is gone. Yurefuri, the poison is purged. Now, for our escape. Zhao Jing raised a finger, her eyes narrowing with tactical precision. We're currently inside the belly of the great serpent. If it can swallow us, it can damn well spit us out. Qin Nan couldn't argue with that logic. A simple plan. So, do you have a way to ... encourage it? Zhao Jing cracked her knuckles, radiating big sister energy. Leave it to me. She dropped into a powerful, striking stance. Crimson sigils ignited around her fists as her gaze sharpened. With a roar, she unleashed a world-shattering punch into the beast's gut. The impact was devastating, her fists sinking deep into the flesh as flames erupted. Qin Nan watched in pure terror. His jaw hit the floor. She actually buried her arm in its gut. The massive purple serpent shrieked in agony. Agony rippled through the beast. Meanwhile, Zhao Jing just laughed, dusting off her hands. This isn't some stone fortress. It's living flesh. This entire sect is built on this creature's back. Hold tight, we're leaving. Qin Nan stood stunned by her sheer brutality. Her strike sent shockwaves through the entire poison dragon hall. High atop her throne, Du Tianya nearly tumbled as the world quaked. What is this? An earthquake. Why is the great serpent thrashing? Below! Duzi panicked. Mistress! The dragon just swallowed Qin Nan, and now it's gone berserk. Could that brat be behind this? Du Tianya rose, her face twisted in disbelief. Impossible! The venom should have paralyzed them long ago. How could a couple of dying rats cause such chaos? The great serpent writhed in the air, its tail striking a purple array before finally vomiting the intruders out. Covered in foul, viscous slime, Qin Nan scrambled to his feet with a disgusted scream. This is absolutely revolting. Do you people have no taste in pets? Beside him, Zhao Jing stood tall, completely unbothered by the monster's bile. Honestly, let's just raze this place to the ground and do the world a favor. Suddenly, Du Tianya's voice boomed. You dare wound my sacred beast. Your lives end here. She pointed a trembling finger at them. Kill them all. The twin disciples wavered in fear. Qin Nan is a monster. How can we possibly face him? Target the woman instead. They pivoted, launching a lethal barrage toward Zhao Jing with razor-sharp hidden blades. As Lu Lai attempted a sneak attack, a violent explosion of crimson energy erupted around Zhao Jing, shielding her. Who are you calling a target? Zhao Jing's eyes burned with fury as the hunters suddenly became the prey. Before she could blink, Lu Lai was sent flying. She scrambled up, clutching her chest in sheer terror. She's a monster. Yuzi gasped, frozen in shock. Meanwhile, Qin Nan and Du Tianye were locked in a deadly Stop sending your pawns. Face me yourself, Qin Nan. Taunt. Du Tianya's face turned purple with rage. Enough insolence. Malignant violet energy spiraled around her like a storm. She raised her hand, her eyes gleaming with murderous intent. The very foundations of the hall groaned under her spiritual pressure. Zhao Jing sensed the danger and spun around. Qin Nan, watch out. The master of this poison dragon hall is Du Tianya, an 8-level quasi-god powerhouse. Yet, faced with a beast stronger than its master, Qin Nan only smirks. Only 8 level. Child's play, he retorts. Neither of you can touch me. Seething with rage, Du Tianya lunges forward, her voice a low hiss. What arrogance! I will make you pay for your pride with your life. Channeling her lethal energy into her right palm, a spectral violet serpent bared its fangs as her arm turned into a haze of toxic light, Qin Nan noted. Impressive poison essence, condensed into reality. Du Tianye unleashed a barrage, yet Qin Nan remained a motionless fortress. Suddenly, the 10,000 poison dragon lunged, aiming its maw at Zhao Jing. What? She gasped, caught off guard. In a flash, the colossal serpent swallowed Zhao Jing whole, trapping her within its venomous gut once again. Seeing his companion vanished, Qin Nan's composure flickered. Zhao Jing! Seizing the opening, Du Tianya mocked. You dare fret over others. A disgrace to all martial artists. Her left hand flared with a blinding violet glow as Qin Nan braced for impact. Their collision sent shockwaves through the air. A silent but deadly struggle for dominance. Glaring coldly, Qin Nan spat. You're starting to annoy me. Trusting Zhao Jing's hidden strength to handle the beast, Qin Nan finally unsealed his power. Golden patterns etched themselves around his eyes. He delivered a devastating blow straight to Du Tianye's jaw. A strike of pure force that shattered her defense instantly. She was sent hurtling back through the air, landing perfectly in her high seat. One might say Qin Nan offered her an efficient ride back. The impact echoed like a thunderclap, yet Qin Nan stood unmoving, a hand on his hip, radiating an aura of absolute superiority. Still holding his punching posture, he taunted. Is that all? Your strikes are as light as a feather. Du Tianya let out a chilling cackle. Silly boy! My strength lies not in impact, but in my venom. Qin Nan stood frozen as a thick purple mist began to coil around him. He felt the toxins creeping into his system, a cold dread settling in. Seated regally, Du Tianya began her lecture. Every strike I landed injected massive amounts of my sealed poison into your flesh. It travels through your veins, your meridians, and eventually, your very soul. She grinned, savoring her victory. At my command, the poison detonates. My ultimate technique. Poison explosion. Art. Now, Qin Nan. Any last words? Qin Nan's voice remained steady. You won't kill me. You need the holy stone energy within me. If I die, your prize vanishes forever. Du Tianya rose, laughing mockingly. Ha ha ha! How naive! My poison hall masters, both death and the healing arts that mirror it. We have many ways to preserve a corpse. I can watch you die and still harvest the energy from your remains. And now, Qin Nan burst into applause, a mocking smile on his face. Is that so? Then go ahead. I won't move an inch. Consider it my loss, if I do. Infuriated, Du Tianya shouted. You asked for it. Poison explosion art. She waited for the carnage, but nothing happened. Confusion washed over her. The whole fell into a haunting silence. Not a single spark flew as Qin Nan stood there, perfectly unharmed. There was no explosion. Du Tianya stammered in disbelief. How? This technique can cripple even a God Monarch powerhouse. Why are you still standing? Qin Nan replied with the calm of a master. The divine sun burns within me. Anything containing spiritual essence is simply fuel for my inner flame. Your poison is but transformed energy, and I've absorbed every drop. Thank you for the power boost. At that moment, Zhao Jing burst free from the serpent's belly. So this is the guardian beast of your poison hall? She asked dryly. She landed gracefully beside Qin Nan, hand on her hip. A bit underwhelming, don't you think? Behind her, the 10,000 poison dragon lay gasping for air at its master's feet. Elsewhere, Du Nuyeta clutched his companion, his voice trembling. It's over. The Hall Master failed, and the Guardian Beast is defeated. Our poison hall is finished. Dulu Lai paled, her spirit breaking. Wah! We're doomed! She cried. Du Tianya stood, paralyzed, as she watched her beast fall. Finally, she lowered her head. Ai, Konseji, Qin Nan, and Zhao Jing watched as she surrendered. I will give you whatever you desire, she sighed, presenting 2 items. The antidote for your leader, and a complete record of our hall's forbidden arts. Qin Nan took them, his gaze sharpening. A wise choice. But heed my warning. If you ever target our Dark Beam Temple again, I will erase every trace of your sect. Understand? Du Tianya nodded frantically. Yes, of course. The Poison Hall will never cross your path again, she promised. Zhao Jing turned to Qin Nan. Well, Qin Nan, don't you still need my help to reforge the heaven-burning sword? If we're done here, let's get started. Qin Nan turned back to the host. We'll be using your forging room. I trust that won't be an issue. Faced with his overwhelming power, Du Tianya didn't dare refuse. Not at all. Use whatever you need. My materials are at your disposal. She waved them off as the duo walked away without a backward glance. Thanks for the hospitality, Qin Nan called out. Du Tianye's face turned a deep shade of purple, her teeth grinding in silent fury. Dark Beam Temple! Qin Nan! I will have my revenge, she vowed internally. Meanwhile, in the secluded forging area, Qin Nan and Zhao Jing prepared their tools. Qin Nan produced a shattered sword fragment and a glowing diamond-like gem. Zhao Jing, I have this divine rhyme talisman stone. Can we use it to restore my blade? Zhao Jing's eyes widened with genuine admiration as she took the stone. Wait, isn't this the grand prize from the 10,000 Sects Assembly? You really are full of surprises, aren't you? Qin Nan blinked in surprise. You know of this prize? Zhao Jing nodded firmly. Of course. Every top winner received one. I've seen plenty. Qin Nan's brow furrowed as he gripped the talisman stone. Zhao Jing pouted, muttering, I expected a divine treasure, but this domain lord is a total cheapskate. Raising the stone high, Zhao Jing's eyes sparkled at Qin Nan's proposal. Intriguing idea, she admitted. I've never attempted such a feat before. Using a divine rhythm stone as raw material is risky, but worth the gamble. With a flick of her wrist, she hurled it into the roaring furnace. First, I must subject the stone to extreme heat, she explained, until it reaches a state fluid enough for forging. Crimson energy surged from her fingertips, causing the flames to lunge hungrily at her arms. The talisman stone began to radiate a blinding light. Amidst the swirling energy, Qin Nan watched with bated breath. Is that the life-soul fire from your destiny palace? He inquired. Zhao Jing's gaze remained sharp. Indeed. The life-soul fire is a cultivator's very essence, the purest form of spiritual energy in existence. Mortal flames can't compare. Ours bled away until the stone glowed a magnificent ruby red. Zhao Jing gripped her massive forge hammer. As she focused her intent, Qin Nan's eyes widened. Incredible! That hammer's presence is immense. It must easily surpass the yellow grade. Despite its titan-like weight, Zhao Jing hoisted the hammer as lightly as a feather. A regal golden aura erupted from the weapon as she spoke. This is the Ironsmith hammer, a mid-tier emperor-grade masterpiece. She brought it down with earth-shattering force, igniting a storm of lightning sparks. Pride etched her features as her masterpiece came to life. Beneath her strikes, the solid stone transformed into a river of molten gold. Aligning the shattered remnants of the heaven sword, she declared, Now, the blade and the divine rhythm must become one. Once more, the hammer rose. The hammer descended like a falling star upon the golden liquid. Like a divine artisan, she poured every ounce of her soul into the strike. Sparks rained down like a meteor shower. This girl possessed the strength of a titan. Standing nearby, Qin Nan felt his face turn pale with awe. Drenched in sweat, he marveled at the display. Terrifying. Every strike feels like it could shatter the very heavens. A sudden thought struck him. Her power might even rival Jia. Suddenly, a violent shockwave erupted, surging through the temple until it reached the main hall. Sensing the ominous pressure, Poison Heavenly Crow's face darkened with dread. "What is this?" she gasped. "Where is this power coming from? Can forging a weapon truly unleash such chaos?" Poison Moon, Evil rushed in, trembling. "Sect leader, we cannot provoke this master. If she held a grudge, our Poison Dragon Temple would be ashes by now." Back at the forge, Zhaojing summoned her final burst of strength. Her hammer landed the final, decisive blow. As the light faded, she hoisted the blade with a triumphant cry. "It's a success! Another mid-tier emperor grade." Qin Nan shouted in disbelief. "Zhaojing, you truly are the divine smith of the sacred city." Basking in the praise, she ran her fingers along the crimson hilt. "I didn't sense it before, but my hammers have awakened something hidden deep within. The dormant blood key within the Heaven Sword has finally been unleashed." But in an instant, the atmosphere shifted into something sinister. The blade grew scalding hot, venting a bizarre crimson mist. Zhaojing gasped as the eerie energy began to coil around the steel like a serpent. Sensing a lethal threat, Qin Nan roared, "Watch out!" He lunged forward, shoving Zhaojing aside to shield her with his own body. His expression twisted in pain as the Heaven Sword hovered in mid-air, bathed in a malevolent, blood-red radiance. The crimson aura suddenly abandoned the blade, lashing onto Qin Nan like chains. His vision blurred as his consciousness began to fade into the void. His eyes went hollow as the red flames roared higher than ever. From within the inferno, a spectral figure slowly began to manifest, draped in crimson robes, with horns crowning her head. Her hair flowed like a river of blood. A chilling, manic laughter echoed through the room. She loomed over the small frame of Qin Nan like a predator about to devour its prey. Slowly, she extended a finger toward his chest. "Qin Nan, surrender your body to me," she whispered. "In return, I will slaughter the Domain Lord and save everyone you love. My path is mine alone, to walk." Qin Nan spat back. "What kind of monster are you?" The girl merely giggled, a haunting sound. "Patience, little one. I shall let you taste my true power." As Qin Nan gripped the sword, a tide of demonic energy drowned his mind. His gaze turned empty, the light of reason vanishing. Zhaojing's heart skipped a beat. "Qin Nan, what's happening to you?" His eyes flashed crimson. Suddenly, Qin Nan let out a primal roar, shattering the newly forged sword into 1,000 shards. Zhaojing watched in absolute horror. His aura skyrocketed, reaching a level of power that rivaled the Domain Lord himself. Like a starved beast, he lunged straight for her. He swung a devastating punch, his movements fueled by pure, unbridled rage. Zhaojing barely managed to raise her guard in time, but the force was overwhelming. Even with her immense strength, she found herself buckling under the weight of his monstrous power. A single blow sent her crashing through the stone wall. The dust cleared to reveal Qin Nan's eyes, now burning with a savage, demonic cruelty. "By the heavens, what happened to him?" "Poison Moon," Evil stammered. "He's fallen into a state of cultivation madness." Poison Heavenly Crow tensed, her voice trembling. "His aura is suffocating. He's lost all reason. Everyone, get back." But Qin Nan was already a blur of motion. He appeared before Poison Moon Evil in an instant, leaving the man paralyzed with sheer terror. "Qin Nan, stop this madness," the man screamed. "We've had our issues, but do you truly want me dead?" Suddenly, Qin Nan's hand erupted in red fire. The crimson energy flared like a supernova, vaporizing everything in its path. A cataclysmic shockwave rocked the very foundations of the world. Like a devastating storm, destruction followed in his wake. As a golden drop fell, Dak Lu Lai trembled before Qin Nan's explosive killing intent. Nujet remained miraculously unharmed despite the terrifying impact, though he claimed she was fine. In reality, she had lost control of her bladder from pure terror. Tin seized the moment, binding Qin Nan's hands before embracing him tightly. She restrained him and screamed, "Quick! Isn't your poison dragon palace's array legendary? Activate it now unless you want to be crushed." Thin now barked orders. "Hurry!" Together, the three converged, manifesting a mystical purple magic circle between them. 10,000 poison-slaying array, a terrifying green serpent, materialized. Meanwhile, deep within Qin Nan's spiritual consciousness, the goddess of burning heaven manipulated his physical form. "These humans are amusing," she mused. "I almost pity killing them." Qin Nan watched, helpless and worried. He fiercely demanded their release. "Free them," she scoffed. "I am the goddess of burning heaven, a deity born from slaughter. Why should I show mercy?" Qin Nan was baffled. "Who exactly are you?" With a smirk, she recalled her ancient, earth-shaking war against the Shura god. "That treacherous Shura god sealed me within this blade for eons. After 10,000 years of imprisonment, I will finally claim your body as my own." Back in reality, her hatred burned bright. She dreamt of hunting the Shura god down to seal him away in a pile of filth. The name Shura sounded familiar to Qin Nan. Could it be his bloodline? She sneered. "Are you insane? Comparing a primordial spirit to mere blood." Ignoring his confusion, she focused only on her singular goal, finding her rival and ending his existence instantly. Qin Nan pointed behind him toward the divine sun. "He's right there," he stated flatly. Her smug expression vanished instantly. Her eyes widened in pure shock. "Is that the actual divine sun? How is this possible?" Qin Nan was taken aback. "How does she know its name?" she snapped. "Of course I know. Every living soul knows of its power. The divine sun could refine anything, even her primordial spirit." Seeing her panic, Qin Nan grinned. "So, you're trying to explain your way out?" She suddenly fell to her knees, calling him great master, and begging for mercy. She promised to return quietly to the burning heaven sword. She fumed with silent rage. She never expected a mere mortal like Qin Nan to grasp the supreme, great Tao. Qin Nan realized the truth. This goddess was terrified of being refined by the divine sun's power. She had foolishly revealed her own fatal weakness. With a cold expression, Qin Nan commanded, "I refuse your plea." "Stunned!" she shrieked. "You? Don't push your luck!" But Qin Nan ignored her entirely, shouting, "Refi!" Ancient seals from the divine sun surged forward, instantly trapping her in a cage of light. The goddess's arrogance crumbled into pure dread. Her overbearing pride was replaced by trembling fear. She couldn't believe her spirit was being refined just after escaping. Her voice cracked into a desperate cry as she struggled. Despite her resistance, she was sucked into the divine sun. There, she joined the Shura god and 5 elements. God, already undergoing refinement. The silence of the void was stifling. "Every day it's just us," she sighed. "Will no one else join this prison?" The 5 elements, God looked gloomy, but Shura smirked. "Be patient. Another guest is arriving shortly," just as he spoke. The goddess of burning heaven plummeted from the sky, crashing onto the floor and shocking them both. She stared at the 5 elements god and then at Shura, her face pale. The refinement had truly begun. A new friend at last. The 5 elements god cheered. "Burning heaven, you've finally joined our miserable club." Shura laughed. "I sealed you in a sword, and now you end up here. You were so close to freedom, yet here you are." His mockery stung, reminding her of her ancient defeat. She glared at her sworn enemy with pure venom. "Shura god, I've finally found you. For sealing me away for so long, I'll make sure you pay today." She tried to summon her power, but in this realm, she was helpless. Panic set in. My spiritual energy, it's gone. The 5 elements, God, sighed. Save your breath. Once the divine sun claims you, struggling is utterly useless. She refused to listen. No, I will escape. I refuse to be refined like common trash. She sprinted toward the door, pounding against it with frantic, desperate strength. Despite her efforts, space distorted, and she found herself right back where she started. It was a futile loop. What magic is this? She gasped. Shura looked at her like a fool. Idiot! I told you, there is no escape. He continued to taunt her. Why not just accept your fate and be a useless fish like us? She snapped back, defiantly. Weren't you once the god of war who swept across the heavens? How can you speak such cowardly words now? Have eons of imprisonment turned you into a stray dog? Have you forgotten the very instinct to fight? Her insults stung Shura's pride. He narrowed his eyes. Burning heaven. You truly are a mindless fool. Fuming, she rolled up her sleeves. Damn you! I'll settle this right now. The 5 elements, God quickly stepped between them. Let me explain. The God of 5 elements began. After being absorbed by this scorching sun, our godheads are not destroyed. Instead, we find new life. But you! If you force your way out of Qin Nan now, your essence will instantly shatter. The world would lose its phoenix god forever. Her rage cooled, yet she still doubted this promised path of rebirth. Are you mocking me? Do I look like a fool? 5 elements continued. For ancient gods, like us, this divine sun, only burns away the inner demons within our godheads. Once purified, our souls will finally achieve a true new life. The god of Shura added, Have you forgotten? We fell to the lower realms precisely because we lost to our own inner demons. At last, the Phoenix god paused to reflect. Could it be true? Could purging her darkness lead to a legendary rebirth? She chose to believe them. Very well, I shall wait within this sun to be refined. Then, she asked, how long must we wait for this refinement to finish? Shura pointed toward the azure stone. See that stone there? In this realm, it is called a saint stone. Qin Nan hasn't even begun to refine it. For him, it is still quite dangerous. So, how long do you think it will take? Phoenix God was stunned. Is this brat really that useless? He cannot even handle one small stone. He is far too weak. 5 elements suggested. We must find a way, to rapidly boost Qin Nan's strength. Only then can he refine us through the scorching sun more quickly. Our new life depends on his growth. The Phoenix God asked. So, what have you all done to help him so far? Shura boasted. I have been with him since the start, guiding his path from the lower realms all the way to the God realm. 5 elements added. I helped him master the elements and open the gates of heaven to seek the great Tao. Realizing her destiny, the Phoenix God declared, Then I shall become his blade. I will serve as the Phoenix sword. Before the 3 great deities, Qin Nan bowed deeply. I understand. Seniors, I humbly ask for your guidance from now on. Shura reached out with a grin. Drop the formalities. With your talent, you will soon surpass us. Let us fight as one. 5 elements joined them, sealing their alliance. He smiled at Qin Nan. From now on, we shall watch over each other. Qin Nan joined the pact with a solemn nod. Yes, let us move forward together. Suddenly, 5 elements glared at the Phoenix God. His eyes screamed, Don't be awkward! Phoenix God, join in! The deadline is here. She blushed a deep crimson. Shyly, she placed her hand on top. Ahem. Qin Nan, take care of me. Together, they roared their battle cry. Slay every enemy under heaven. Qin Nan woke with a start, finding a massive green serpent coiling tightly around him. Facing the poison sky crow, he spoke calmly. My consciousness has returned. You should release this seal now. He drew a glowing, crimson blade. Long time no see. Phoenix sword. Xiaojing's eyes widened in total disbelief. How did the Phoenix sword jump from mid-grade Imperial to peak Imperial rank in an instant? What on earth happened? Poison Skycrow erupted with killing intent. Release the seal in your dreams. Kill him while he is still trapped. Emerald light surged around her. Her mind held only one thought. Qin Nan, I told you I would kill you given the chance. Her subordinates, Poison Moon and Poison Lychee, instantly prepared to strike. Lychee lunged forward like a gale. Surrounded, Qin Nan frowned. I offered you a path to life, yet you choose the road to the underworld. Why throw away your lives so recklessly? The three attackers converged from all sides in a deadly pincer move. Qin Nan gripped his hilt, preparing for a bloodbath. Amidst the tension, the Phoenix God's spirit flickered. Mortal sword styles are often just flashy tricks, she whispered. Qin Nan took his stance, ready to strike. The strongest technique is the simplest one. Qin Nan roared as he swung his blade. Phoenix cleaved. A blinding flash. The overwhelming energy made Poison Lychee scream in terror as the very earth split apart. Dust and debris filled the air. Seeing the sheer destruction, Xiaojing stood frozen in shock. One strike to kill. One strike to sever mountains. This power, ... He could challenge a realm lord. With calm confidence, Qin Nan sheathed his blade. From this day on, the Poison Dragon Palace is no more. Phoenix God placed a hand on his head. Qin Nan, I am now the sword in your hand. Call me whenever you have need. The sword's power will grow alongside your own cultivation. Qin Nan smiled. Thank you, Phoenix God. He then bowed to Xiaojing. Young lady, thank you for reforging my Phoenix sword. She let out a soft giggle. You certainly have many secrets. I forged a mid-grade weapon, yet you turned it into a peak-grade treasure. Qin Nan scratched his head and laughed, coming up with a bluff. The blood energy inside must have evolved during refinement. Internally, he sighed in relief. Gotta keep it a secret. I can't exactly tell her I absorbed a literal goddess. The master finally understood. It made sense. Ancient blades stained with the blood of thousands naturally harbor a heavy, malevolent resentment. But once that darkness is purged, the weapon's true power awakens, ascending to a new rank. Your situation is actually quite common. Qin Nan remained pale, beads of sweat drenching his brow. Yet, deep down, he breathed a sigh of relief. The crisis had finally been averted. Xiaojing straightened her posture, placing her hands on her hips with a sudden air of maturity. Well then, our business here is finished. It is time we part ways. I imagine you have many matters left to attend to. Qin Nan nodded calmly. You are observant, Lady Zhao. I must indeed return to the Dark Mang Divine Palace immediately. He silently calculated his next move. I must finish refining the Orishiang pills and deliver the divine cure to the palace before our scheduled meeting. In the middle of the desolate ruins, the two warriors exchanged a respectful bow. Until fate brings us together again, Xiaojing called out. You can find me at the Divine Statue Pavilion in the Holy City, Qin Nan replied. Until we meet again. As she left, he mused. She has the face of a child, but the presence of a master. If only her temperament matched her looks. With a sudden surge of ki, he teleported toward the majestic Dark Mang Divine Palace. The Grand Sanctuary stood tall amidst the rugged mountains. Upon his arrival, Yin Luo and Modawu rushed out, their faces lighting up with joy. Brother Qin Nan, you have returned. Yin Luo cheered. Modawu approached more gracefully, her hands clasped softly. Are you unharmed? She asked, gently. Ignoring his own fatigue, Qin Nan held up a small jade vial, his expression turning grim. I am fine, but more importantly, I have found the Palace Master's antidote. Where is he now? At the mention of the leader, Yin Luo's face turned ghostly white. Her voice trembled. The palace master, ... Qin Nan felt a cold dread sink in. What happened? He demanded, his heart racing. Tell me, how is the palace master? Mo the Wu lowered her gaze, her voice thick with sorrow. The master. While we were at the Great Sect Assembly, the ancient poison within him erupted. He has passed away. The news struck Qin Nan like a bolt of lightning. His body froze, a lump forming in his throat. How could this happen? Yin Luo sobbed. He did not want to distract us from the competition. He kept his pain a secret. Qin Nan cut her off, his eyes filled with a cold, sharp determination. Take me to his grave. I must pay my final respects. They led him to a solitary mound in the forest. Qin Nan's brow furrowed, a soft, bitter whisper escaping his lips. Yo, old fool. He dropped to one knee, clutching the antidote as the wind wailed around him. He stared at the silent earth, his heart heavy with unanswered questions. I found the cure, so why? Why could you not wait just a little longer? Rest easy now, he vowed solemnly. The dragon poison hall has fallen by my hand. Your vengeance is complete. You can finally find peace in the afterlife. I swear upon my soul, I will protect the Dark Mang Divine Palace for you. Suddenly, a group of strangers approached. Yin Luo began to introduce them. These are... Without warning, the entire crowd dropped to their knees. The sound of their impact echoed like a thunderclap. A heavy silence followed. We humble disciples beg Qin Nan to become the new palace master. We beg Qin Nan to become the new palace master. Despite the honor, Qin Nan's refusal was immediate. I appreciate the sentiment, he stated, his voice leaving no room for argument. But I cannot accept this mantle. The disciples looked on in shock. But why? A young man cried out. Brother Qin Nan, you brought glory to our palace by taking first place in the 10th combat zone. You secured vast resources for our future. Only someone with your strength is fit to lead us. You even brought back 2,000 Origin Yang pills. Your kindness is immeasurable. Please, lead us toward greatness. Facing their desperate pleas, Qin Nan remained remarkably composed. I have vital tasks that remain unfinished. My kin still suffer in the lower realms, and I cannot rest until we are reunited. I cannot manage this palace. I am truly sorry. Disappointment washed over the crowd. Qin Nan then turned toward Mo, the Wu, and Yin Luo. A new plan forming. Furthermore, he added, pointing to the two women, the victory in the 10th zone was not mine alone. I could never have achieved it without them. Mo the Wu and Yin Luo fought by my side through every trial. Their contribution is equal to mine. Therefore, I officially nominate Mo the Wu as our new leader. She possesses a meticulous mind and handles every crisis with unshakable grace. She is the steady hand this palace needs. Moreover, she has awakened the legendary Heart Sound Bird bloodline. Under her guidance, the Dark Mang Divine Palace will surely rise to the top of the realm. The crowd erupted in whispers of awe. The Heart Sound Bird bloodline. With such divine power, Lady Mo the Wu truly is on another level. She can protect us all. Qin Nan is right. Mo the Wu is the perfect choice to lead our sect into a new era of glory. The tide of opinion shifted instantly. Seeing their support, Qin Nan's voice boomed across the mountainside. Do you all stand with my choice? The response was a thunderous roar. We agree, and I nominate Yin Luo as our Grand Elder. Qin Nan continued. Though her cultivation may be lower than Mo the Wu's, her potential is boundless. Her comprehension is extraordinary. With just a little guidance, she has mastered the art of spirit daggers. In the very near future, I am certain her strength will rival that of the Palace Master herself. Her talent makes her more than worthy of the title of Grand Elder. Once more, he challenged the crowd. Do you agree? They raised their hands high, shouting as one, we agree. Qin Nan immediately dropped to one knee. He bowed deeply toward the two stunned women. I offer my greetings to the Palace Master and the Grand Elder. The girls gasped. Qin Nan, what are you doing? Following his lead, the entire assembly knelt and shouted, Greetings, Palace Master! Greetings, Grand Elder. The two women stood there, frozen in beautiful confusion. Under the vast, open sky, the disciples bowed in unison, their voices echoing through the peaks. Greetings, Palace Master! Greetings, Grand Elder! Qin Nan smiled, his heart finally at ease. I leave the future of the palace in your capable hands. Mother Wu stepped forward and helped him up. Rest assured, Qin Nan, we will ensure that all disciples, whether from the divine or lower realms, are treated with absolute equality. She vowed to make the palace supreme. Qin Nan, rest easy. I'll support Sister Yawu with everything I have. Qin Nan nodded in approval. Then I can leave without worries. Suddenly, Mo Yawu lunged forward, hugging him tightly. Qin Nan, you must return safely. Her face flushed as she leaned on his shoulder. If the Lord harms you, my entire sect will storm the holy city. Ngunlak embraced him from behind. I'll cultivate harder to reach you. Please, survive no matter what. Caught between two beauties, Qin Nan's face turned beet red, yet he grinned. Don't worry, I've never felt more confident in my divine strength. Even the Lord might kneel in fear. With three ancient gods backing him, how could that old man ever compare? We believe in you, Ngunlak whispered. Qin Nan coughed awkwardly to break the tension. Hey, let go! I can't breathe. The disciples are watching. Yahu pulled away, blushing furiously. Ngunlak hid her face. We got too excited. Qin Nan waved. Time to settle things in the holy city. He took one last look. Until we meet again. He vanished like a phantom. The girls watched him disappear. Ngunlak turned to Mo Yawu. Sister, you love him, don't you? Yawu gazed afar. Me? No way. ... she stammered. But as the leaves fell, she whispered, I do. Deep in the holy city, towers loomed. A massive spire radiated mystical light from a holy stone. Crowds swarmed the streets as Qin Nan stared at the tower. The Lord actually traded with the demon realm for that stone. He checked his robes. But this outfit, it's a bit much. He recalled Jia Wenruo's advice. Disguise yourself, blend in with the warriors entering the tower. He won't recognize you. Though hesitant, he eventually agreed. Fine, let's follow the plan. Nearby, warriors were whispering excitedly about the upcoming event. I heard the Lord is hosting a banquet, one man said. He always invites the elite after the great assembly. Indeed, after the feast, he assigns the best to high positions. The dark-haired man nodded, eyes gleaming with ambition and greed. We can leave our old sects behind and serve the Lord directly, a blond youth exclaimed, his heart racing with excitement. The resources will be legendary, a fat warrior added. Every fighter in the Yuanyang realm dreams of this golden opportunity. Jia Wenruo suddenly appeared, hands behind his back. Congratulations on being the top champions of your respective battle zones. We've seen your power. Protect our realm from the demon horde and the ravenous beasts. Your strength is our ultimate shield. He gestured toward the grand staircase. The Lord himself has prepared a feast in your honor. Please, step inside and celebrate. Let's go. The fat man cheered. Jia leaned toward Qin Nan, whispering, Don't worry. Your cup is free of any toxins. Qin Nan ignored him, but Jia continued. The Lord's power will drop when he activates the grand array. That's our moment. I understand, Qin Nan replied coldly. Jia watched him leave, a sinister smirk creeping onto his face as he plotted betrayal. Once they're both injured, I'll become the new ruler. Inside, the Lord sat centered atop a glowing golden formation. Jia stood behind him while the warriors took their seats. Below them, a massive sigil pulsed with an eerie yellow light. Why is there an array under us? One warrior asked. It's just for cultivation support, Another explained with a dismissive shrug. Are you from some backwater lower realm? Everything is a surprise to you. The man scratched his head, laughing sheepishly in embarrassment. Qin Nan analyzed the scene like a god of war. This array is meant to suppress everyone, but its power is spread thin. High-level experts might resist it. That's why that old fox added poison to the wine to ensure total control over us. It won't kill, but it will cripple their cultivation. He strode his chin, a clever way to turn tigers into kittens. Everyone here will be at his mercy. Qin Nan's lips curled into a cunning smirk as he formulated his own counterattack. Too bad, my wine is clean. I'll play the part until he shows his hand. Then I'll crush his little trap. The Lord raised his cup. To our champions, drink and celebrate your victory. Everyone toasted as Qin Nan took a sip. Seeing them drink, the Lord gloated internally. They've all swallowed the bait. My grand design is finally coming to fruition. Suddenly, a warrior gasped. What's happening? My spiritual energy is in chaos. My cultivation level is plummeting before my very eyes. Me too. My ki is wild and uncontrollable. Panic surged through the room. Qin Nan's heart skipped a beat in shock. How? They said my wine was safe. Why is my internal energy starting to spiral out of control like the others? Lord, what kind of wine is this? The Lord's expression twisted into a demonic grin. It's the wine of your death. The warriors froze in terror. What? The Lord channeled purple spiritual energy, his hands weaving a deadly and ancient incantation. Become my nourishment. Hideous tentacles erupted from the floor, binding everyone. Qin Nan sighed. Not more tentacles. This is just gross. A small messenger bird reached Jia. He stared at Qin Nan in disbelief. He's poisoned. But I clearly made sure that The Lord looked at Jia, reading his mind. Surprised. Did you think you were the only one playing a game here? The Lord sneered at them all. You thought your plan succeeded? You're all under my heel. Aunts shouldn't challenge the heavens. With a thunderous strike, the old man crushed Von Neok's chest, startling the birds nearby. As Nahak spat blood, the sector lord hoisted him by the throat with murderous intent. I despise traitors above all else. I raised you like my own blood, so why conspire with an outsider to bring me down? A bird landed on the Lord's shoulder as he chuckled darkly. Did you truly think I was blind? That raven on your shoulder was my own eye all along, struggling for air. Von Nahak spat back through gritted teeth. You slaughtered my kin, defiled my mother, and kept me around as a mere tool. How dare you call me a son? Purple cyan energy erupted from his body in a violent surge. Do you even know the meaning of the word disgusting? His explosive aura sent the birds scattering in panic. The sector lord was momentarily stunned, but quickly regained his cold, mocking composure while stroking his beard. A hidden talent indeed. To think you've reached the God-sovereign realm right under my nose, the Lord remarked with a hint of twisted regret. But even with the power of a God-sovereign, did you honestly believe you could stand against me alone? The God-sovereign realm is the true threshold of divinity, where every minor stage requires surviving a life-or-death tribulation. Eyes glowing with a fierce azure light, Nihak countered the Lord's mockery. That is exactly why it is known as the 9 death tribulations of a God-sovereign. The sector lord laughed. Each successful tribulation increases one's power tenfold. I have already conquered 3. How can a novice who just stepped into this realm hope to compare? Nahak didn't flinch, clenching his fists with a defiant, provocative smirk. We won't know until I've carved your heart out. The Lord's eyes narrowed into slits. For that arrogance, I'll grant you a swift death. He released the bird, which transformed into a colossal fire phoenix charging at An. Meanwhile, Qin Nan was desperately fighting off the encroaching tentacles. Witnessing the chaos, Qin Nan thought, perfect. Let these 2 monsters tear each other apart. He ignored the vines, focusing entirely on purging the poison. I'll absorb this toxic wine first and settle the score later. After a grueling struggle, Qin Nan finally neutralized the threat and began plotting his next move. I'll play the spectator for now. I'll strike once they've both bled each other dry. Across the field, Nahok drew his blade in a blur of motion. Channels of ancient power surged through his sword as he lunged. However, his devastating strike was halted by the Lord's overwhelming wall of pressure. Is that all you've got? Nahok mocked. He manifested a crimson-eyed clone that charged forward, only for the Lord to shatter it with a single hand. Using the distraction, Nahok prepared his next technique. Enough with these flashy, useless parlor tricks. The Lord sneered as Nyack leveled his blade. Two more phantoms appeared behind him as the trio lunged. No matter your realm, your fatal flaw remains the same. A complete lack of real combat experience. These illusions can't even scratch me. The Lord obliterated the clones with a palm strike, yet Nahok continued his relentless, frantic assault. Such tactics only work if you have the vast reserves to exhaust a peer. You're wasting energy trying to drain me. Once your mana hits 0, you're dead. The Lord manipulated his energy into a terrifying vortex of dark purple spheres, causing Nyack's face to pale. The Lord's mockery continued. Your tricks are futile. My spiritual foundation is 100 times deeper than yours. You cannot win a war of attrition. To defeat me, you'd need a single, world-shattering strike, but you don't have it. Are you trying to tutor me before you die? Nyack roared, slamming his palms into the black orbs, fusing them into a singular, massive sphere of destruction. Watching from the sidelines, Qin Nan felt a glimmer of hope. Nyack's shadow release seemed weak, but its true power lay in the aftermath of its collapse. Collapse! Nyack commanded. He tightened his fist, causing the giant sphere to implode and then detonate with a deafening roar. Shockwaves tore the earth apart. Qin Nan watched in awe, thinking, that blast must have turned that old devil into a pile of minced meat. Panting heavily, Nyack screamed into the smoke. Sector Lord, your flesh and blood will finally pay for my tribe and my mother. Atonement for every warrior you've butchered. He launched another massive energy sphere into the sky, the sheer pressure leveling the distant towers. Believing the battle was won, Qin Nan laughed. V? An onage. C is incredible. He actually finished off that old monster, but his smile faded as dread set in. It was too easy. As the dust settled, the Sector Lord stood perfectly still, without a single scratch on his robes. A mocking smile played on his lips. Surprised, Nahok gasped in horror. Impossible. That strike should have erased you from existence. You knew of my golden cicada power, yet forgot its ultimate escape, the golden cicada. Shedding skin. Your arrogance was your downfall. Now, I shall devour your essence and Qin Nan's to I will reach the peak of the third tribulation, and finally, break through. Once I transcend to the fourth tribulation, my lifespan will extend by 400 years. He threw his arms back, laughing like a maniac. Then, I shall conquer the beast realm and erase my past humiliations. He began recounting his dark history as if it were a glorious achievement. Years ago, I stormed the Beast Emperor's palace. I nearly decapitated the East Emperor and intended to claim his wives for my harem. But the coward used a forbidden ritual, sacrificing 300 years of life to force a breakthrough and wound me. He and his men barely survived. He spoke as if he were the victim. I thought I'd never return to that realm, but then you appeared, Qin Nan, a genius with limitless potential, by using the Saint Stone to drain your talent and the life force of these warriors. I will reach the pinnacle of my power. I am ready to shatter the chains of the third tribulation. His face twisted with greed. Once I step into the fourth stage, I will return to the beast realm, bury the emperor, seize his lands, and take his queen and daughters as my spoils of war. The old monster's vile words dripped with filth, sickening everyone present. Qin Nan sneered in disgust. You, a domain lord, ignore your duties just to prey on others' families. Qin Nan's mockery struck like a lightning bolt. The domain lord's fury erupted instantly. He pointed a trembling finger. Qin Nan, I've tolerated your insolence for far too long. Today, you shall be the first to be consumed. He unleashed a devastating strike of rolling spiritual energy, but the technique froze mid-air. Qin Nan simply smirked. Sensing a shift in the air, the Domain Lord glanced back. Suddenly, the discarded tentacles behind him sprang to life, surging forward with renewed hunger. They ensnared his legs in a heartbeat. Now, who should be surprised? Jia Wenruo raised his hand, his face twisted into a mocking, triumphant grin. His eyes were dark and full of contempt. Qin Nan, you useless fool, he thought.
You didn't even realize the wine was laced with deadly poison.
An alliance. Don't make me laugh. Stay trapped while I slaughter this old dog. Then I'll deal with you personally. He turned to the Domain Lord with a sneer. My black corruption has already sealed your meridian. Your power is useless now. The golden cicada escape art won't save you today. With a roar, he conjured a void black sphere that swallowed the Domain Lord before he could react. Jia Wenruo funneled his spiritual energy into the sphere, forcing it to compress. As it shrank, Qin Nan watched from the sidelines, his brow furrowed in concern. Unlike before, the sphere resisted the compression, trembling violently. It seemed the Domain Lord was struggling desperately within his dark prison. Jia's face contorted with effort as he pushed his power to the limit, intending to crush his foe into dust. The sphere vibrated with a terrifying, pent-up energy. Old man, how does it feel to have your bones snapped one by one? Jia screamed maniacally. Next, I'll turn your internal organs into a bloody pulp. I'll squeeze every drop of life from your veins. He laughed. Toward the heavens. Mother, my people, I've finally done it. Your vengeance is here. Suddenly, the black void shifted to a brilliant azure blue. The internal pressure reversed. Jia gasped in pure horror. No, how is this possible? Boom! The sphere shattered like a glass star. The Domain Lord emerged, standing tall as his suffocating aura crushed Jia Wenruo's spirit. Why is his pressure so immense? Jia stammered. I told you, every tribulation in the God Monarch realm increases one's strength tenfold. A fresh God Monarch cannot compare to my third tribulation might. Even 100 of you couldn't defeat me. The Lord gloated, reveling in his absolute suppression. It was a terrifying revelation for everyone. With a casual flick, the Lord struck Jia's abdomen, sending him spiraling back while coughing up blood. Despite his broken body, Jia's defiance remained. Even so, I won't let you live in peace. He lunged forward, locking the Domain Lord in a desperate death grip. Let go! What are you doing? The Lord roared, struggling to break free. Jia simply looked up with a wide, haunting smile that sent chills down the Lord's spine. Can you survive the self-detonation of a gut? Feeling the impending doom, the Lord hurled him away with all his might. Get away from me. Jia Wenruo detonated mid-air, creating a catastrophic explosion that veiled the world in dust. Yet, through the haze, the Domain Lord stood only slightly wounded. HMPH. Trash. Like you will never bridge the gap in our power. A mere explosion cannot kill me. He clenched his fists and laughed triumphantly. Qin Nan was stunned. To survive such a blast with only minor injuries was unthinkable. The Lord had even suppressed the shockwave's radius. The destruction had been confined to a mere 10 feet. Qin Nan broke into a cold sweat. The third stage of the God Monarch realm is a literal abyss. Having finished with Jia, the Lord turned his icy gaze toward Qin Nan. Do you finally taste the weight of despair? You are now just a lamb waiting for the butcher's knife. The bound cultivators cried out in terror. Lord, what are you planning to do to us? Why poison our wine? Why trap us like animals? Give us an answer, or our combined sect will bring you to ruin. Seeing the table turn, Qin Nan chuckled coldly. Look around. Jia's explosion seems to have woken everyone up. Your mask is finally off, old man. Realizing the charade was over, the Domain Lord stopped acting. He dropped his facade and revealed his true, sinister nature. You are all just ants. Your lives are mine to claim. Your deaths will serve as the divine nourishment for my ultimate ascension. The world will only remember that you died gloriously in my service." He roared with insane fury. "This is the only end you deserve." The truth finally dawned on a warrior in the crowd. The rankings. The grand tournament. It was all a trap to harvest us. You're a monster. Rage ignited like a wildfire. The crowd's fury reached a breaking point as they screamed in unison. "We will destroy you. We gave everything for this realm. Yet you slaughter its finest warriors for your own selfish greed." Their collective anger shook the whole. The Lord merely smirked, his voice devoid of any shame or remorse for his heinous betrayals. "Curse me all you want. You won't escape the Saint Stone's hunger." Lil Zhaojing collapsed into tears, her terrified sobs echoing through the chaos. "Mother, I want to go home," she wailed. The Lord stepped toward Qin Nan, spreading his arms in a mocking, arrogant gesture. "I want you to watch as every single one of them becomes a dried husk. And you, Qin Nan, you shall be my first course." He leaned in close, his eyes burning with a twisted, sadistic malice as he prepared to execute his final, treacherous plan. "By absorbing your unique essence, I'll reach the peak of the third tribulation instantly. These other fools are just my appetizers." Qin Nan offered a calm, amused smile. "So, you saw through my disguise. Fine, then. I'll stop playing along." He shed his camouflage in a burst of light, but the old snake had already laid a hidden trap, waiting for this exact moment. Vile purple tentacles surged toward him like hungry demons, but Qin Nan moved instantly, obliterating the monstrosities before they could even touch his hem. Meanwhile, the weaker cultivators remained ensnared by those writhing tentacles. Their faces were masks of pure horror and confusion. What was happening? Each of us is a 12th level quasi-god, yet we cannot break this array. How is this 8th level Qin Nan completely unaffected? He escaped so easily. Another captive watched in a daze, unable to comprehend the scene. Even without poison, he shouldn't be this strong. An 8th level brat simply lacks the power to break free. The Sector Lord snarled, his expression twisted with a growing, vengeful rage. "My toxic wine and grand array failed to bind you. I underestimated you," he hissed. "But don't think freedom means you can survive me." He began boasting of past legends to put the boy in his place. "You're just like Jia Wenruo when he first entered the God Monarch realm. 100 of you couldn't defeat me at full strength." The hero simply smirked, his eyes reflecting a calm and dangerous confidence. "I feel I can kill you in a heartbeat." The old man's eyes bulged in shock before he erupted into arrogant, mocking laughter. "Ha! Ha! Truly amusing!" With a haughty wave of his hand, he sniffed. "I am the undisputed master of the Yuan Yang domain. In my youth, I reigned supreme over this land. In my prime, I single-handedly brought the entire beast domain to its knees. I nearly slaughtered the beast emperor himself. Even in my old age, the mere mention of my name strikes terror into their hearts." The playful mockery vanished. His face hardened into a mask of cold steel, as he pointed a trembling finger at Qin Nan. "A piece of trash from the lower realm thinks they can kill me. Pathetic." Qin Nan merely maintained his defiant, icy composure. "If you don't believe me, then try it." The Sector Lord turned serious, his eyes burning with the glow of lethal spiritual energy. "Fine. I will slaughter you and crush the hope of these other warriors." His blade suddenly ignited with a terrifying, golden brilliance. "Yuan Yang Heaven Opening. Slash," he roared, thrusting his magnificent sword toward the sky. He funneled every ounce of power into the strike. A devastating shockwave erupted, far beyond what any normal man could endure. A sun-like golden aura hurtled directly toward the protagonist. Death was inches away, yet Qin Nan remained unervingly calm. He gripped his sword as a pillar of spiritual energy surged into the sky. "Heaven Sundara, grant me your boundless blood essence." Following his call, a divine goddess materialized and placed her hands upon his head. "Take the power of the Heaven Sunderer," she whispered. Qin Nan closed his eyes, his veins bulging as the primordial energy flooded in. Asura god, lend me your infinite slaughter intent. A gargantuan golden silhouette appeared, and the Asura god let out a primal roar. The Asura power is yours to command. Qin Nan's body glowed with emerald light as he shouted, "5 elements god, fuel my spirit." She appeared instantly, weaving her essence into him. Qin Nan's body radiated a blinding, divine light that seemed completely unstoppable. A massive sphere of spiritual energy expanded before him, growing stronger by the second as he merged it with the ancient stone's power. Suddenly, a beam of light descended from the heavens. Above, the sky turned pitch black as thunder and lightning shook the world. Burning heaven, horizontal, / Qin Nan bellowed, swinging his blade in a world-ending arc. The Sector Lord's face went pale with terror. Flames engulfed the Sector Lord's sword, and a sickening crack echoed. "No!" he shrieked as his weapon began to shatter into pieces. "Impossible!" The blade snapped under the intense heat. He stared at the broken steel, unable to accept his absolute defeat. Such overwhelming momentum. Could he truly possess power equal to my third-tier God Monarch realm? The Lord wailed in denial. Before he could react, the inferno swallowed him whole. He collapsed, a charred and broken husk lying cold upon the shattered earth. The young captives watched in stunned silence. Did he just kill the Sector Lord with a single, devastating strike? Is Qin Nan a monster? Wait! One youth screamed. That was just a clone. The real Sector Lord is right behind him. The old fox lunged from the shadows, his blade aimed at Qin Nan's back as he let out a cowardly, desperate roar. "You're just as arrogant as Jia when my true strength is beyond your imagination." He struck with everything, certain of his victory. "You're already a cold corpse in my eyes, even at death's door." Qin Nan's lips curled into a subtle, knowing smirk. "What? Old man? Did you really think I wouldn't see through such a pathetic and simple illusion?" He spun gracefully in midair, his blade carving a decisive arc through space. The clone was merely a target for practice. The Sector Lord gasped as the tables turned. "You have vastly underestimated the speed of my blade," Qin Nan growled coldly. "No," the old man stammered, his face turning ghostly pale. "Impossible. I am the Supreme Sector Lord. I cannot lose to you." A massive, golden wound erupted across his chest, tearing through his soul. The power of the burning heaven sword was absolute. The Sector Lord was consumed by divine flames, his body turning to ash as the entire tower crumbled into ruins. Qin Nan stood amidst the dust, his golden aura slowly fading as he scanned the area to confirm his enemy's death. "It's over," he sighed, realizing the Sector Lord was truly gone. The survivors erupted into cheers of joy. "We won." The hideous tentacles dissolved into nothingness, freeing everyone. As the dust settled, soldiers helped each other up amongst the rubble. They looked at Qin Nan with awe and fear. The Sector Lord is dead. Qin Nan is now the true master of Yuanyang. Qin Nan stood like a legendary god of war. Amidst the chaotic whispers, he remained eerily calm, centering his breath to stabilize his surging essence. Once his aura settled, he addressed the crowd. "With the Domain Lord dead, nothing can stop me from restoring the bridge to the Tianyan continent." Looking toward the heavens, he spoke with conviction. "Father, ancestor, Nuovan, Pill ancestor, Quinayan." His face glowed with the joy of a long-awaited reunion. "Finally, we can meet again." Suddenly, a young man dropped to his knees and called his name. Qin Nan. Following his lead, the entire crowd bowed down, crying out, "Please, accept the title of Domain Lord." Qin Nan was taken aback by their plea. Despite their desperation, he firmly rejected the high throne once more. With a stern expression, he gave his final answer. "I refuse." The crowd erupted in confusion. "Why? You were the one who ended the tyrant. By right, you are our new leader. If this realm remains masterless, we will be devoured. Other domains will surely strike us in our weakness." He offered no explanation and turned to leave. "My mind is made up," Do not follow me! He knew that, with the Lord gone, his priority lay elsewhere. Connecting the realms is far more important than a title. Who has time for politics right now? He walked toward the shattered ceiling of the grand hall. He recalled the sacred stone the old lord had recently seized. Perhaps I can absorb the energy within it. Before him sat a shimmering purple gem. It rested atop a rare golden staff of immense power. Qin Nan approached the magnificent tower, holding the artifact. The purple sacred stone pulsed with an eerie glow. He reached out his hand to draw in the power. Suddenly, the stone began to vibrate violently. Something was wrong. The energy felt volatile and strange. His brow furrowed as he sensed the disturbance. This has never happened with a sacred stone before. Why is it reacting with such intense hostility? Below, the citizens watched in growing terror. What is happening to the stone? It suddenly shattered, releasing a thick, ominous mist into the air. The dark clouds swirled and took a terrifying form. A pack of monstrous beasts emerged with blood-red fur. They bared their fangs, growling with murderous intent. The crowd froze in absolute horror at the sight. One youth stammered in fear. Those are the hellhounds of the demon realm. Their aura is close to the God King realm. Why were such demonic monsters hidden in the stone? What kind of madness was the old lord plotting? Qin Nan realized the gravity of the situation instantly. The energy was a mask for this sinister trap. These hounds were sealed inside to be unleashed. Before he could act, the hounds lunged into the crowd. Panic erupted as people screamed for their lives. Help us! The beasts are tearing everyone apart. Don't come near me. One monster charged toward two red-haired warriors. Stay sharp. These creatures are incredibly powerful. We must unite to strike them down. The hounds were relentless, dragging victims to the ground. Amidst the blood, a small child stood frozen in shock. A massive beast loomed over the trembling girl. Its hideous face was inches from her, dripping with saliva. She clutched her toy, paralyzed by the scent of death. Tears filled her eyes as the monster prepared to strike. Suddenly, Qin Nan appeared like a shield before her. Thank you, big brother. He gave a short, determined nod. He unsheathed his blade and lunged at the beast. But midway, his body suddenly seized up in agony. A sharp pain stabbed his heart, forcing him to his knees. The god of burning heaven appeared by his side. Qin Nan, you are pushing past your limits. Your body is breaking from the strain of the previous fight. You used power that doesn't belong to your current realm. If you continue, your meridians will surely explode. You will die if you don't stop right now. Red steam rose from his skin as fire marks appeared. Not again. Another life-threatening warning. He glared at the beasts, his teeth gritted in pain. I may not be the domain lord, but I won't ignore this. These demonic curs are slaughtering the innocent. I cannot let them run wild in this domain. The ground was already littered with fallen bodies. Wiping the sweat from his brow, he stood his ground. I won't fall until these three mongrels are dead. He charged forward, swinging his blade with fury. Da! The demon hound snarled as it intercepted his strike. Qin Nan aimed straight for its skull. Who gave you the right to bite the people of this land? Be erased. But then, his vision blurred and his legs gave out. It's over. My body has reached its limit. His strength vanished as he collapsed to the earth. His sword clattered away as darkness took his consciousness. The crowd rushed toward their fallen hero. As his senses faded, he heard a small, crying voice. Big brother, Qin Nan, Domain Lord, please wake up. He groaned softly as he slowly regained consciousness. A young woman sat beside him, looking relieved. You finally woke up after 3 days of slumber. What? 3 days? He sat up, still stubborn about his future. Tell the warriors to leave. I'm not becoming their leader. The girl looked at him with a mysterious smile. How much do you know about the demon realm? Qin Nan rubbed his head, admitting he knew very little. She began to explain the vastness of the god realm. It is divided into 9 domains, 10 lands, and 9 territories. And above them all sits the supreme Yang. The demon tribes have seized 3 entire domains: the Abyss, the Dark, and the Divine Demon. Domains. Together, they are known as the Great Demon Realm. Their goal is simple but absolutely terrifying. They seek to conquer every domain and rule the heavens. They want to unite the entire God realm under their shadow. Qin Nan frowned, recalling the strength of the hounds. Those 5 beasts were already reaching the God King level. Their true power must be beyond imagination. If they are so strong, why only 3 domains? The girl explained the delicate balance of power. While the demons are formidable, they aren't invincible. The remaining 5 domains could resist if they united. But peace between the other realms is just an illusion. They are constantly plotting and backstabbing one another. Take our Yuan Yang domain, for example. The previous lord was blinded by his own lust. He attacked the beast domain just to steal a woman. He targeted the wife and daughter of the Eastern Beast King. Since then, our realms have been locked in a bloody feud. Endless conflict has drained our strength. Qin Nan sighed, disgusted by the old lord's legacy. Not only did he ruin lives, he was a total degenerate. What a pathetic excuse for a ruler. She explains further that the demon lords knew their master's time was short as your power rose. They hid 5 hellhounds within the stone, sensing the end. He recalled those vicious, biting beasts. Without your monstrous strength, those hounds would have slaughtered every expert and shattered the Grand Array. Now leaderless, the realm is vulnerable. What do you think the demon armies will do next? Tan Nam realizes an invasion is coming. Yi Xian stares out at the vast, anxious crowd. Recovering on his bed, he listens intently. A lord protects the realm, yet you struck him down. Now, leaderless, this land faces certain doom. Soon, it will become a desolate wasteland of death. Power brings responsibility, Yi Xian states sternly. Why run? Tan Nam stands, ready to face her. I must reach my loved ones first. Only then will I consider the throne. Do you understand? The former lord traded 500 worlds for that stone, including your home. Didn't you know? He scoffs. I will simply use the God Gate here to reconnect with my world and friends. You truly understand nothing of the higher heavens. She sighs, pointing toward the infinite sky above. That gate was sold to the demons. You can only reach your world through their territory now. Tan Nam's grip tightens in shock. What did you say? Speak those words to me again. Calmly, she repeats the truth. The path to your home lies deep within the demon realm. The demons have likely corrupted the bridge. Your kin might find a path, but to where? Seeking ascension, they will fall straight into the demon's claws. Tan Nam masks his growing despair. Enough. He signals her to stop. Yi Xian steps closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. Alone, you cannot win. But with this realm's power, hope still flickers. He nods in silence. Fine. I accept the title. I will use this entire realm to crush the demon domain. With eyes full of resolve, he vows to reclaim his lost home. The sacred city awaits. Ancient towers pierce the sky. As they step out, the anxious crowd falls silent in anticipation. Today, Tan Nam becomes our new lord. The people roar in unison, hailing their new master. They bow low. Suddenly, divine golden light descends from the heavens, wrapping around his body. What is this power? Yi Xian smiles. It is the blessing of the ancient gods above. The heavenly Tao light blazes like a solar flame. He reaches out to embrace the surge. This feeling resonates with my solar technique. It is growing stronger by the second. Lifted into the air, he cries out. His cultivation base begins to shatter all previous limits. From level 8 to 12, then soaring straight into the God King realm. Pure, unbridled power. Before, my techniques were a death trap. Now, I can command them with total, absolute control. The danger has vanished. Long live the Realm Lord! The crowd's cheers shake the very earth. Both status and supreme power are mine. This was, indeed, the right path. Yi Xian watches. Your predecessor's guard is dead. Do you have someone worthy to stand by your side? I must choose carefully. My allies are either too busy or lack the necessary strength. He turns to her. Yi Xian, would you take the position of my personal guardian? She declines. Busy with alchemy. Besides, my level 10 cultivation is far too weak for you. He ponders again. What about Tu Tin? Her raw power is undeniable after that last battle. She crushed a level 8 beast with one fist. She is the perfect choice for protection. Her appearance is challenging, but I cannot judge her soul by her outer form. I have decided. Go and summon her at once. She will be my new elite guard. Yi Xian obeys. Suddenly, a breathtaking beauty with long pink hair emerges from the shadows. The crowd gasps. Her elegance and slender frame leave everyone speechless. Is this really her? Admiration fills the air. Our Lord's taste is truly divine. They stare at her radiant face. Her stunning figure earns her instant respect. The Lord's vision is beyond our comprehension. Tennam nearly falls over in shock. This is Tu Tin. You found the wrong person. Yaqian bowed low before Qin Nan. As you ordered, we found Lady Zhao Jing at the Holy City's Divine Pavilion. There is no mistake. Seeing Qin Nan, Zhao Jing's eyes sparkled with joy. Are you the domain lord? Master Qin, it has been too long. Qin Nan rose and approached her. Zhao Jing, it really is you. You've changed immensely. Zhao Jing winked playfully. My form shifts according to the situation. Naturally, I must use my everyday appearance for the Lord. Qin Nan scratched his head in confusion. Then your look at Poison Dragon Temple was ... That was my combat form. She instantly transformed into a towering warrior with rippling muscles and a perfect six-pack. The commoners watched in absolute shock. Look at those muscles. Truly powerful. The Lord has a keen eye. She is the perfect choice for a bodyguard. Qin Nan grinned with satisfaction. Excellent! From today, you are my personal guard. Will you fight by my side? Reverting to her cute, petite self, she blushed. I will. I've wanted to stay with you forever. Master Qin. Yaqian smiled warmly at the scene. Congratulations, Domain Lord, on gaining such a fierce general. She then turned to him. Lord, what shall we do with the treasury and the former lord's 3,000 concubines? Qin Nan gestured. Disband the harem. But take me to the treasury first! Internally, Qin Nan was screaming with joy, his eyes gleaming with pure greed. That old fox had a private hoard. I'm going to be rich. Under a clear mountain sky, they reached the site. Qin Nan, Yaqian, and Zhao Jing stood before a massive bronze gate. Yaqian turned to address the new lord. The old seal vanished with the previous lord's death. It awaits your command. Qin Nan nodded. I see. He rubbed his nose, thinking deeply. The previous lock is gone. Now, I just need to set a new one myself. Qin Nan touched the gate, and a mysterious sigil erupted in light. The pattern expanded as the heavy doors groaned open. Qin Nan wiped away sweat from the effort. Done. I have set a new spiritual seal. Zhao Jing clenched her fists. The Domain Lord is magnificent. As the portal opened into a blinding glow, Qin Nan led the way inside. They entered a vault filled with mountains of shimmering gold and jewels. Qin Nan shielded his eyes. All this, ... for me.